Let's take a look at a really cool tool called the Harvester. It runs on Kali Linux. It's installed in Kali Linux by default. And what we're going to do is we're going to type the Harvester. You can see it like this, one word. And first we're just going to look at the help. Then we're going to specify a particular domain. That's what the TAC-D is all about. The first one will be certifiedhacker.com. We will limit our results to 300, and we will search all sources. We're then going to try against mit.edu with no search limit, and then we're going to just try the company, CompTIA, without saying .org or anything like that. Now what the Harvester does is it will search a variety of servers and search engines in order to find email addresses, hosts, IP addresses, and you can even have it query shodan.io, for addresses that it finds to see if they are IoT devices and get information about them. Now, we can see here that we have been logged into Kali, and it has locked us out. So you get this splash screen, and you see the little arrows going up here. And just like Server 2016 or Windows 10, we have to get past the splash screen. And you have two ways to do this. You can either click and hold down the left mouse key and drag, so you're dragging it up and down. See, lift the curtain up and bring the curtain down. Or, let me just cancel to bring it back down. You can press the space bar. I'm pressing the space bar and it goes up. So we're logging on as root with the password of tour, T-O-O-R, pressing enter. And I am going to expand this. In fact, you might remember that one way to do this is to xrandr TAC-S, and then whatever resolution you can manage. I like to do on my particular laptop 1680 by 1050, press enter, and that will force VMware as well as VMware Workstation Player to expand. And then let me just zoom in a couple of times, 1, 2, 3, just so we can see a little bit here. So we're going to type the Harvester, and I'm just going to bring this over so we can see what we're typing. You can watch, and I'll type it here, and I'll comment as we go. So let me just kind of bring this up here, and let me just bring this over here. Okay. So first, let's just type the Harvester. Now you can either type space TAC-H, -H, or nothing and press enter, and it will give you all of the syntax. Let me just bring this over so we can take a look. You can see that the Harvester, you specify the domain with -D. Let me see, I've got that over here. And it can be either a domain like comptia.org or just a company name, just CompTIA. And then you can specify data sources, Baidu, Bing, Bing API, Dogpile, Google, etc. Now, whether or not you find stuff will depend on if there is stuff to be found. So there could be stuff that exists but just is not documented in these particular sources. But we hope that between Google, Yahoo, and Bing and others that we'll find it. I tend to use all, just to get all of them. And there's other things here. You can verify that their host names really exist with DNS resolution. You can save results, the TAC-F, to either an HTML or an XML file. You can do some DNS lookups. You can send results of queried hosts to the Shodan database. And they give us a few examples here. So let's try just the Harvester TAC-D, this one right here, certifiedhacker.com. TAC-L, that's a small L, 300 TAC-B all. So whoops, got to have my fingers on the right keys, right? The Harvester, TAC-D, certifiedhacker.com. TAC-L limit rather to 300 TAC-B all. Is there anything more to this? Nope, that's it. Let me bring it over here. Let me press enter. Gives it a moment. You can see that the Harvester is starting to search Google, and it's looking for anything on certifiedhacker.com. Now, I have to tell you, you won't necessarily get results, particularly email addresses. But if there are any to be found based on this search criteria, it'll show them up. Now, we limited this to 300 results. So there are no, well, suddenly I have IPs. There are no emails to be found. If we had searched maybe 500 results or no limits, maybe some emails would have come up. When I look here, I can see that there are a number of hosts. And do you see this? What do you as a hacker make of this? Take a look at this. All of these hosts here. But look at this. The IP address is all the same. Sounds to me like it's a dummy. That I cannot expect one IP address to run this many. Mail, news, fleet, events, control panel, blog, auto-discover, www, all these things. I have trouble believing it. So we're going to try just one of these here. In fact, let's just try like www.blog.certifiedhacker.com. I'm just going to click it. Let's see what happens. I'm just clicking this thing. Let me click it here. Well, at least I think I clicked it. Let me copy it. I will copy the link. I'm going to open Firefox. It's this little orange thing here. And I'm going to open up a browser in Kali. And I'm going to paste this in. And I'm curious. I have my doubts that this is even a true, that this is actually any real results. I think that they are just bogus. So paste and go. Okay. Yeah, not really. Not really. How about some of these others? www.newscertifiedhacker.com? Yeah, I don't think so. Let's try this one. News. Yeah, okay. So this has just been put here for our testing purposes. It's not real. And so, okay, and one virtual host. All right, found in Bing. So let's now try mit.edu with no limits. So I'm just going to up arrow. And I'm going to left arrow, and I'm going to get rid of the limits, and I'm going to change it to mit.edu. The folks who, at least in the past, and I don't happen to know if they still do, ran the PGP server, where we can find lots of emails in PGP. Well, until PGP was sold to Symantec. Now it's GPG, but that is where we used to be able to trade PGP public keys. So even though my cursor is in the middle of this, it's okay. I'm just going to press enter. It'll still run. So we're checking mit.edu. We can actually see that there's a little bit of information up here. This is actually written in Python, as a lot of hacking tools are. They don't have to be. Some of them are written in Ruby. In fact, Metasploit is written in Ruby, but a lot of stuff is written in Python. So we can see that we're searching all of these things here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video for a moment so that you don't have to listen to me babble on while this thing just goes on and on. As soon as it's done, we'll come back. Okay, it was just taking too long, so I did a Control-C to break this. We can see that there are many servers, many from sort of like same subnet or close by subnets. So this looks a lot more realistic to me that these are actual servers. Looking at the variety of IP addresses, even though they, most of them are in the 18 first octet, but there are others, 192.52, of course not 192.168, 23. So I think these are much more realistic that they're real servers. Of course, I would expect that from MIT. And when we go back here a little bit farther, and there's loads and loads of them, we can also see, if we go back, we'll see some email addresses, I'm pretty sure. Boy, lots of servers, loads. Basically put no limit on the results. Okay. So, yeah, here are a few email addresses. These are probably not people. These look like they're for services, and it's deep empathy, okay. Hard to tell whether or not these actually are live. But we've got some emails. We've got 640 hosts with the IP addresses. And then I broke it because it was just taking too long. We have no virtual hosts. A virtual host is simply a server that hosts multiple websites, very often in different domains. So we're going to try just one more here. Let's see if we can find anything when we look in CompTIA as a company. So let's just try CompTIA as a company here. So we're going to up arrow, and we're just going to look for CompTIA without .org or anything like that. no top-level domain name, just the company name, and hit it. And we'll see if we get anything from this. So I'm going to pause this for a moment, and I'm going to come back to you as soon as I have some results. Okay, and looking at CompTIA, I see a variety of emails without a top-level domain, though. I'm questioning that these are true emails here, but that's interesting. Of course, though, with this result set, yeah, kind of hard to tell if these are true or if we can just add a .org onto the end of these. These look real. I mean, like S. Holland and S. Ostrowski and T. Herbert. They do look real. We don't know. And then we have some host names here and no virtual hosts. So that's using the Harvester, and I encourage you to try it yourself to see what kind of results you can get.